in the past few months. So, I mean, to start with, Sil, what's been your experience with this?
Thank you, Raul. It's always fantastic to connect to you. Well, my experience, I think, has been similar to a lot of the people that I've talked to. Most people, I think, have never experienced being in a lockdown situation where they couldn't get out of their house, if you will, um, unless they need to go get groceries or just the essentials. And, having to wear the mask in order to protect yourself and the lives of others is something very different that I know I've never experienced in my whole life. And having shops close and restaurants close and businesses close down, and not just that uncertainty and not knowing when is this going to end, how bad is the area I'm living in going to be hit. And so just a lot of turbulent. I don't think I've ever experienced, well, I know I've never experienced this much turbulence in my lifetime or just around the world. Wouldn't you say that to be true?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely turbulent times right now, and I really wanted to ask you: is there any recommendations for the people right now? What would be the one thing that is really important to do at times like this?
Oh, that's a great question. I would say there's two things. First of all, and I don't want to sound real negative here, but I also want to look at what's really happened here so I can give you some words of encouragement and things you can do. Most people have had a shock, if you will. Never dreamed something like this would happen. Um, many jobs were lost, if you will, and that unknown of knowing whether or not the company will open back up, whether a person will even have a job, if you will. And um, so those things, those are major life events that create very shocking moments, if you will. So the first thing that's so important is to be able to get back onto the positive side in the middle of this turbulence and a crisis or any situation, right? And so if you've had a shock, the first thing you can do is, identify that, yeah, this has been a very shocking experience, and look at when it happened. So that's the first thing. Acknowledge that, oh, this has been a shock. This has been this has been an event in itself. And the second thing would be to come join me on Tuesday so I can give you a whole bunch of questions to help handle the shock if you experienced one, and then look at how to get more positive in the middle of a crisis so that regardless what's going on, you can get into the right flow, if you will.
Yeah, I mean that's priceless. And so tell us a little bit more about this event that you're doing on Tuesday. I think it's a webinar, right? So could you tell us a little bit more
Yeah.
around that?
Well, it's a webinar, and the reason, and I'm so happy to talk about it because we did this webinar, I think it was early April, because when we looked at what was going on around the world and how many people were sitting in shock over the COVID virus and what had happened, we're like, oh my gosh, we have some tools that we really need to help these people, help as many people. As you know, we did over I think we did 5 teachings, and we taught people how to actually go in and process the moment of shock. These things occurred, and a lot of people, we have a lot more happier people. We did over 100 of them, I think. So I think it's time we do another one because there's been a lot of things that's happened, more turbulence since we did the initial one in March. And so Tuesday, just for an hour, we're going to do a webinar, and I'm going to give you 5 questions. And my team and I will be there to explain exactly what happens to you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically when you have a shock, and how that affects you. And some questions that if you just ask yourself these questions and run those questions, if you will help you to get out of that, if you will, and help recover your focus. So your ability to be focused right here, right now is more here than over there, back in yesterday or in the past.
That's fantastic. So thank you so much, Sil. And I think that it's, yeah, I mean, it's great that you are creating this event, creating this webinar on Tuesday, because at times like this type of knowledge and this type of
Yeah.
techniques, it's just priceless. So thank you so much, Seal. So anything else for the people that is
Yes.
watching this?
Yes. And guess what? It will be taught in 2 languages by our brilliant translator, Raul Rivera. Thank God for you. And my team from South Africa, and which is Nicole Mitchell and Jeff Crippen, and then Raul and me will be here to spend 60 minutes with you. And I can't wait to see you.
Fantastic. So thank you so much, Seal. So we'll see you there. It's going to be Tuesday, and the time it's 8 a.m. Central,
Yep.
right?
Yep. 8 a.m. Central Daylight Time till 9 a.m. So join us, please.
Thank you, Seal. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you at the webinar.